Overwatch 1.
Right.
But I took a big break and came back last season. Uh, and I was usually around gold. Then I played a lot last season, a lot of Wuyang, basically only.
Right.
And I climbed to plat, and now I still play a lot of Wuyang. And today I just hit diamond for the first time.
All right. And I assume you're Theno here, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. I guess the how do I say it? When you play, is it just Wuyang that you play also? Like just mainly Wuyang?
Yeah, I think it's like 95% Wuyang.
Sure, that's fine. I would try and get another character in your hero pool in case Wuyang gets banned. Like, what's your plan if Wuyang gets banned?
I usually play a bit of Lucio.
Right. Okay.
Uh, yeah, staying in the main support hero pool since I also play for a college team
Right.
in Germany.
Makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. That's fine. But yeah, just something to mention. But yeah, I think the main thing I wanted to ask is when you play Wu Yang, what are the, I guess, things? What are your strengths of the character?
I think it's a lot of damage
Right.
from quite safe positions.
Yeah. What else?
Also, the potential for burst healing is quite high,
Right. So
and I think I can take angles quite aggressively.
I guess the main thing that all those are all perfectly good reasons, right? The burst heal and the damage. I guess the main thing I'm looking for is where I kind of describe you as a more dynamic Hilari, essentially, where the positions you take in the mid fight, I like calling these like mid fight rotations, are really really important because your character is so heavily based on how much damage you actually do and where you can get an angle onto the enemy team. And looking at their comp too, this is also really important to mention. Pretty thick pen there. This is also really important to mention because these guys generally are low mobility comp. Of course, they've got Juno Ring, and but barring that, it's pretty much no mobility. So, which allows you to take heavy angles or hard off angles around the enemy team, and no one can really chase you. Now, you mentioned being able to do damage safely. That's mainly because you can bend water balloons around corners and whatnot. But this comp here can't chase you if you're on a really, I guess, not an aggressive position necessarily, but if you're on like a position where like high gun for example, or above them or behind them or a hard to reach location, no one on the enemy team can really chase you. Like this person can't really, these guys can't, this person can't, they're too squishy. This person maybe can, and we'll talk about that in a moment about when you want to look for angles in the mid fight, and this person definitely Orisa. So looking for angles you can take that are inaccessible to the enemy team are really important, which is something that we'll I guess look for. Of course, your waves. The thing with your wave is how much aggression is someone taking on your screen because we have a travel time. It's you might have to like pre or like again look at the aggression, or maybe your Doom's discorded and he's taking aggression from 5 different people. You have to preemptively wave him to make sure he doesn't die. Something like that's really important. But yeah, we'll look at the aggro you take or the aggro someone's taking before you wave. Rather than that, we'll see how things pan out. And yeah. Right. Okay. Okay. And of course, something that I mentioned with Zen, of course, is actually have someone that you want to passive kill
Yeah,
target, right? Like you could just what you're doing before the game starts. Of course, you're trying to do that here. But yeah. Okay. Sure. Fine. Draw me back. Fine. I don't mind not waving that because again, you're not actually wanting to fight here. You're just soft engaging. I don't mind you not waving that. He wasn't looking to hard engage either. The slam in punch out. I don't mind not waving that, even though he got to crit HP. That's fine. Okay. 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 There's one thing I wanted to mention there, but watch a little bit more. Sure. So, like, this is probably down to micro, because so far we're not, our APM or actions per minute are not very high. How come you're not controlling your water balloons and trying to bend them past the two corners? This main choke.
I think mostly confidence.
Right, is it confidence with hitting the shots?
Yeah, it is.
Right,
Like I I think if I see the enemies, then my aim is not trash, but also not like great.
right.
But like, after a corner or even two, I don't even know where to aim. where to put them.
Right. So I guess there's like two things or two solutions you can maybe take with that. The first one is play an angle to where you can see enemies passing through you, which is most likely through here. Right? And when I mentioned movement rotations, that was kind of the example. I think your Junkrat's actually here. Yeah, he is somewhere around here, right? So you could actually be here, support your Junkrat, and when I just mentioned about taking angles that the enemy team can't really reach you from, this is kind of a case of that. Obviously, he might be pushing that a little bit too much here, but if you take a headshot by Torbjorn here, for example, or some damage by Zen or whatever the case may be, you can dash back and no one can chase the kill because their comp is so immobile. Of course, do be careful about the spam. You can get one shot from Xenorbs plus Torb spam here, but the idea is still the same. And besides that, you can still guesstimate where people are coming from, which is the second thing, right? Where you roughly know they're going to be behind this corner. You know as well, if you want to stop taking damage in Overwatch, you play corners. And I have this idea, or I guess you can call it an idea, but this is with Ryan Fire Strikes, where a really easy way you can get Fire Strike hits on Ryan is by Fire Striking corners. Because these are like the hotspots of the map, basically, where people will duck back into to try and reload, get HP back, get CDs back, or stabilize. So if you can Fire Strike corners, you'll often just hit targets by proxy when they're re-peaking, because Fire Strike's got such a big hitbox anyways. So if you're struggling about actually hitting targets that you can't see, bend them around or try and look for the corners, because people will probably be playing there anyways. And the last bit of micro, and actually I mentioned this in a Wuyang video, like I think Wuyang Live Weaver, I made like 2 months ago or something. But if you aim your shots like off the corner, so like this is a corner here, if you aim it like away from the corner like this, you can go deeper into the corner, right? Yeah, right. Whereas of course if you hit it by the corner, you can miss people that are actually playing right next to the corner itself.
Yeah.
So that's also another bit of micro that's important. Barring that, there's 3 things to mention there, because people will play corners. Everyone likes corners on Overwatch. So yeah, that's why your character's so annoying. But yeah, with more time, like again, you can be like that shot right there. Like you could have just bent it around and right side. And again, sure, you might not hit someone, but there's a much higher chance of you hitting someone than just letting it fly. But yeah. Okay. 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 Sure. There is one thing. Yeah, there's two things that I wanted to mention here as well. The first one is the Junkrat, right? And I mentioned flanking through here. Obviously I mentioned flanking through here because you can see more targets and you can get a deeper angle here, but not just because of that, right? Because you, as supports, and this isn't just a Wuyang idea, this would apply to Zen, Kiri, most supports in the game, Brig as well. You can support people that are aggressive, and right now, of course, your Doom's taking a ton of aggression, so it makes sense to your Doom. In fact, I wouldn't even mind it to wave him because he's crit HP taking aggro, right? I wouldn't even mind the wave. But here I get why you're walking forward towards your Doom. He's crit. Makes sense, right? But after he's not taking much damage or much aggro anymore, who's the next person on your team that's most aggressive?
Yeah, the Junk.
The Junk, right? Because not mainly because of his angle, right? Predominantly, and this is what awareness again, this is the skill of awareness in the game, where had you just compartmentalized or realized that hey, Junkrat's flanking left side. He doesn't need my help right now, because clearly my Doom needs more help right now. He's crit HP, my Junkrat's not, so I'm probably going to need to help my Doomfist here more. That makes sense, right? But this is what awareness is. It's reminding yourself that, hey, okay, I can keep in mind, in the back of my mind, Junkrat's to the left side here, so I might need to help him afterwards. Because here we just forget Junkrat exists. And helping Doom's fine, but again, it's the second part of remembering Junkrat might need some help. Especially when he gets to start taking damage here, right? Like he goes from green to yellow, that tells you he's taking some level of aggression. And I wouldn't even have even minded you to dash left side here and beam him up, because again, he's isolated on the angle. No one's actually supporting him, which is important to mention. But yeah. And here, an even bigger case, because he gets speared, but not here. Could have killed him up a little bit, right? And look at the aggro that the relative to your team's taking, right? Your Doom is not taking any aggro. He's actually playing back to the corner here, trying to bait out the CDs from near SSN, which makes sense actually. But your Junkrat is right in front of you, peeking really aggressively when your Doom's not going in, right? Now, if your Doom was slamming in, I think that would make sense. Have your orb on Doomfist. That makes sense. But he's not. He's playing slow. He's playing this. Yeah, he's playing the corner here, playing really, really slow. Right. So again, you need to pay attention to who on your team is playing aggressive, and also who on your team is taking the most amount of aggression. So we're able to support people in time. This comes down to, again, this isn't a Wuyang specific idea. If you're playing Mercy, I'm going to say you have to Mercy beam your Junkrat here. If you're playing Zen, I'm saying orb your Junkrat. If you're playing Brig, I'm saying pack your Junkrat. It's the same idea. But yeah, and that almost, I don't know, Junkrat might even die there. Very lucky. Look at like 10 HP there or something. Thankfully, the grip saves him in time. But again, that's really important when you get to higher elos, because in a higher elo, he probably dies. And he might have even died over in this room over here, because you didn't support him. But yeah. Okay. I'm being nitpicky. A very small bit of micro. That's just fine, right? To get out dodge. But cancel it when you don't need it anymore. So I would cancel it right here, so you can get it back on. Get it back quicker. Okay. Okay. Sure. Okay. One thing here. Why do you go back? Or rather, I don't mind helping your Doom here. That was fine, right? But why not play this left side, or literally while your Sojourn's playing by the taxi, or playing a bit more back here by the bus stop, or by the right side room here. We've got a slightly different angle, but you can still help your Doomfist the entire time, right? Why not play like this right side position?
Like in the situation, I thought I don't have my dash, so I shouldn't take this aggressive
Right,
angle,
right. Yeah, that's where the importance of the mobility of the comp comes into play. Because if because if they're playing dive, right? If they're playing Sombra Tracer, Genji, Doom Ball, something like that, right? Or Lucio Kiri, like, yeah, right, get the fuck back. And obviously you want to create distance, but no one can punish you. Like, I think she just used Spear Spin, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember that correctly. Yeah, she just used Spear Spin. Like, there's no one can chase you. So like you're fine, you know, and that's really important to note, because people think that the more aggressive you play, and I mentioned this in hero wise as well, this isn't Yang specific, but people think that the more aggressive I play, the more danger I'm putting myself in. That's not necessarily true. And actually, if you think about it, this is a more aggressive position. Say this is point A. This is more aggressive than point B. But point A is way more safe than point B, because obviously the cover. Right? Even though this is more of a passive position, quote unquote, and it's less aggressive. And this is why I have the idea called aggressive but safe. Because it's slightly oxymoronic. People think that, again, the more aggressive you play, the more danger you're putting yourself in. And that's not always the case. So it's really important to keep that in mind, because, again, this would be... I wouldn't even say this is aggressive necessarily, but it's definitely a lot more safer and a bit more aggressive than playing it, for example. So yeah. Would have saved you the spear there. Okay. Okay. And this is where micro really comes into play, right? Because if you're able to bend your shots around the fire truck here, where you'll, you know, if you can just peek here, fire a shot, and then bend it around and hit the Orisa, like, that's really, really important to do. Because again, a lot of your value in your character is your gun, or is your water balloons. Those two shots there, if you hit that onto Orisa, that would have been great. And your orb, I think, is in your Soj, or your Doom here. Yeah, on your Soj there, which is good. Fine. Can't really beam your Soj in there because the LOS is you, so that's fine. The Spear Spin. Okay, sure. I think that's waving your Doomfist there, but it's fine. Waving is hard to hit him. Reasonable, right? This is also going in, playing aggressively too, so I think the wave is reasonable. Doom's fine here too. Sure. Sure. Only thing there is when your Doom goes in. I'll back up a little bit. Fine. You get Discorder here. Yeah, I would be expecting. I don't get why you're walking back here, right? Because when your Doom goes in, of course you want to walk forward. You probably want to walk forward, right? You're more able to heal Doomfist. You're closer, so it's easier to hit your orbs, and it's also you can get a better angle, right, to get more damage when the Doom goes in. So here I think again you're playing a little bit too passive, without much reason, right? I think again you can at least stay on this angle here, wait for your Doom to slam in, and then you can peek it and walk forward. Yeah, slight micro thing there. So we're de-peeking right now when our Doom's currently in. Not great. Okay. Got our Doom, sure. Okay. Where could you move up to after the Orisa dies?
Where? Like to where?
Yeah. Like right about now.
I think I could take the whole right side, like even behind the cap.
Yeah, I think that too. Right? Like again, you can see how hard it is. Because you can't see anything with the visual issue, right? You can barely see anything. Like, you can barely see Sorb. You can't see anything. So I'd definitely push forward and get a deeper angle to see if you can find anything. Again, you might not be able to, but I definitely would go here. Maybe even here, right? Maybe here's a little bit too aggressive because Zen Echo is still playing here. But at least pushing up to this cap, for sure. And then maybe seeing, oh, is my Doom going to go in? If my Doom goes in, then I can push up to this right corner too. So, again, your aggression is like on a scale, basically. But yeah.
Yeah.
And again, you know Echo is then not playing there. You can bend your shots around the corner. Okay.
This will be a theme, I think, for the rest
Yeah,
of
yeah. The
tomorrow.
APM is really important because you could be at 80%, 85% ult charge right now. Had you bent your shots a little bit earlier, bent some shots into Orisa during the walk up a bit earlier too, and bending your shots right now. It needs to be 80%, 85 right now. Which again makes a big difference when you climb. And again, whoa, look at this, you know? And notice how I mentioned earlier, like, I expected, I just assumed naturally that after your Orisa dies, or their Orisa dies, that your Doom's gonna go in. Right? And then I was like, oh yeah, after your Doom goes in, then you can walk up. But that's not even on your mind. Right? And to me, I've seen so many games that I expect your Doom to just go in, because that's how Doom players are. But yeah, look how noticeable the gap is, even top down, right? Between you and your Doom. It's like, why are we so scared? The Doom he's borderline feeding, don't get me wrong, right? But at least make use of it, because every single person on this team is going to be looking at your feeding Doomfist. Make use of it. Get ult charge, get damage, get kills. You can even, again, I'm not saying it to necessarily go through here or walk up all the way, right? But definitely take a deeper angle here, because right now I think we're walking back. We're walking back right now, right? So it's too little, too late, sadly. And of course, now you need to walk back because your Doom's dead. But yeah, could have at least look at the rest of your team. You know, they're trying to actually walk up off your Doom. So again, and that's not the first time. Again, we saw a little bit of desync last fight as well. You walking back when you weren't even expecting your Doom to go in, right? But yeah. Okay. Okay. Sure. Wait, would be useful right now. Wait, would be useful. Yeah. Obviously, right now, your two people are taking aggression, right? So Orisa's walking onto your Surge, and your Junkrat's critical HP. So right now, probably Wave is probably going to be useful. And again, that's based on the aggression here, especially after the spear. And when this person's yellow and this person's crit, I definitely would be waving this. I mean, how come you don't wave this?
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay.
It's like you right there.
Yeah, I mean, the fight's already gone. Doom's dead, your Soldier's dead, Life is won.
Sure.
Somehow you get out. Also, how do you get? First, how do you get out here? And B, that's actually mentioned. That proves my point that you don't actually need to be playing as scared as you are. That you should be dead here, right? But because their comp is so slow, they can't actually chase you. You can just walk out and you're fine. So again, like, you can really push the limits against comps that really haven't got much mobility, which again are comps that aren't Lucio Kiri, Lucio Moira, Doom Ball, Somber Tracer, that kind of thing. But yeah. Right. We'll see back here. A little bit. What do you wave at, actually? Let me see.
Nothing.
Yeah, not the wave is too little, too late. Dash is fine, obviously. Yeah, you just missed the wave in your Weaver.
Yeah.
I think it's reasonable. In principle, it's reasonable. Your Weaver's taking aggro there, but yeah, just the mechanics on doing it. Okay. Okay. You're doing good. Finding the Junkrat if possible. Okay. Maybe we forgot our Junkrat exists.
Maybe
so,
we did.
Yeah.
Again.
Right. So again, second time. Right.
Yeah.
And it's okay. There's like one thing, and because it's not very useful or practical for me to say to you, oh, you just get more awareness, you know. So what I often tell players is three things. Well, you can do three things practically, and these are like visual or cues to regain awareness while playing. There's three things you can do. One is after a kill or a death, right? So this one's really good if you're. I mean, it's pretty good on Wuyang actually, because you'll get kills naturally because you're a high damage character. But this one I tell the Tracer players all the time, because they often get one clips or they get one kill and they have no idea what to do after. So again, after you get a kill or someone on your team dies, for example, you can again look around, or which again is regaining awareness. Like, alright. A second one, which is more broad and more vague, but I often say an event or an action. So often these will be ults. Right, so brackets it alts. So again, you look around, and the last one is cooldown. Cooldown, and then that will cause you to look around. This one is most useful on Brig and Lucio. Like after you amp heals, you look around. You wide, you look around. You send packs, you look around. It's really good to get into habit of this, and also on reloads too. This counts as looking around. Also useful in Sigma when you're firing hyperspheres. But these are the three main ways or cues to look around here. And right now, when you're having to reload behind cover, for example, is when you can regain awareness. Or, for example, as well, after Doom gets a kill or kills someone on the enemy team. I think, yeah, the Arista here, right? And again, you can look around, regain awareness. And those are the cues that I mentioned in the game because they're things that you can visually see happen on your screen. Whether it's in the kill feed, whether it's an animation on your screen when you're reloading, whether it's the kill icon on your screen after you get a kill. There are things that happen in the game that you can use as prompts or, again, cues to tell you, hey, you know what, I should probably look around and regain awareness. Yeah, so it's a good skill to have on, obviously, any support player. But second time, this happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Again, I think here, micro-wise, we'll see how you're missing these shots. Okay, so that one, you didn't know what Echo was. Reasonable, right? This one here should hit. So, splash damage, okay, that's okay. They bent it a little bit earlier there onto the Echo. This one, sure, Juno ducked back, fine. Okay, that one was just, went out in the open there. Didn't even try and hit the Kiriko in the cover, or try and hit the Echo to the right side. Well, right, so we just kind of went in the middle, did nothing. This one. Okay. Okay, that one's reasonable, just misses the thing. That's a good shot there, nice. A little bit. Get the cover here. Dash out, fine. Doom's gonna come back and use a strike. Not a great wave. I'd probably save it for your Doom. Again, your Soldier's not taking much aggression here, right? So this is a good example of what I mean by visual aggro. So your Soldier is probably, they're not hard swinging, right? And your Doom just came out and meteor strike. So he's probably going to be taking tons of aggro. So saving wave for him would make sense. Now, when would be a good time or a good example to wave a Soldier? When do you think it would be a good time to wave a Soldier?
Most likely when an enemy turns as well.
Yeah? What could the Arista do? That will prompt a wave.
Spin in.
Yeah, spin in, right? So if you for example, if you saw the Arista spinning and spearing in your Soge, waving that would make sense. Hook the Arista away from the spear, disrupt the spear, heal your Soge, get the amp heal too. That would make sense. And that's again based on the visual aggro that your teammate's taking, right? Who's looking at your teammate is kind of what visual aggro means, and how much aggression is that? So yeah. So it says literally right here, right? So there's an Echo Doom or an Echo duplicated as a Doomfist. They charge punch, looking at your Soge, waving that would make sense. To stop the punch, of course, right? So yeah, that would be a good case of it. Okay, let's see actually look around this time. Okay, what's the LOS you? So that's okay. Whoa, this dash is not great. Whoa. This fine. Again, we're playing slow, we're chillaxing. Makes sense. I'm okay with this. What causes this?
Panic, I think. Like they're starting to cap.
Right.
But yeah, sure. Like it's stupid. I think it's panic.
What? And this is where that awareness thing comes into play, right? Because right now you've lived the dive, or you've lived the echo cycle essentially. Like you've got like time to readjust and look around you before you actually go in, because you've cleared the main threat, which is the echo. She's gone somewhere now. God knows. Where's she gone? I have no idea. But you clear the echoes, the main idea, and as a result, you're able to sort of chillax and then readjust and look around because you have no idea what's on here. You don't know who's on point. You don't know who's coming back. You don't know where your doom is. All that kind of stuff, right? So here would be a good time to at least take a 1 or 2 seconds to chillax and then look around. So again, this is a full under the event or action thing. But yeah, that is not ideal. At least you do take a good angle here, which is nice. This is nice. Yeah, nice, really good angle. Again, that will classify as like a mid-fight rotation thing too. Right? We also got an Orb and Sojourn as well. So this is pretty much as peak as it could get in terms of your own angle and your own positioning. But unfortunately, again, we kind of come here out of panic, or I don't like why we end up here. Is kind of the main thing. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, we missed 2 shots into Orisa, which would have killed the Orisa.
Oh.
Yeah, 50 HP. I mean, she's gonna die here anyways, but yeah. Okay. So maybe Wuyang ult yourself. It was good. Nice, good kill. I wouldn't have hated if you Wuyang ult yourself there. I think again, considering that no one's able to go on point to tap.
Yeah.
Again, before if you were to do it, look at your Doom. Look if anyone can actually touch in time before you end up doing it. But yeah.
This is also like a very big problem of mine. I don't use my ult like as much as I could. I think I could have, like, in many cases I think I could use my ult like twice as often in rounds.
Yeah, so this is an 80-minute game. We'll cut off the starts. That's 5 ults in 16 minutes, which is not particularly great. Again, it's a thing where it's like, if you see an opportunity, use your ult, and that's the general advice I give for a lot of ults in the game. I think EMP is also a really important case too, because people think EMP needs to be like this big 5-man play. Same thing with Shatter actually. It needs to be this big 5-man ult group play. It doesn't. If it gets value and you see an opportunity to use it because someone's playing aggressively, then use it. So again, I wouldn't have minded that, for example, right? If you took a second, Wuyang ulted your Soj to walk forward, that would have been fine. If you took a second, looked around, maybe your Doom's dead, you ult yourself, go on point, that's fine too. But yeah, the main thing, if you're gonna think about Wuyang ulting, is looking around and making sure, or double checking essentially, that yeah, you've actually got correct triggers to be able to Wuyang ult. But yeah. Most simply, of course, if you've got a tracer of your game, it just becomes kind of obvious.
Yeah, it does.
We'll see here. Same thing could actually go with Doomfist here too. So Doom's love to end, so you can enable that. Okay. Okay, up you Doom, nice. Draw. Fine. Draw. Fine. Only small thing, and it's being a nitpicky here again. But again, you can take an angle here or an angle here, and then just move away. Again, the comps are really slow, so as long as you care that over the spear, you'll be fine. But yeah, this angle's okay. Nice. Oh, it's switch of time. Wave is reasonable. Fine. Okay, sure. Again, I would have preferred you to dash back over here so you got a different angle, but that's, again, I'm being a bit nitpicky here. This map isn't very wide. Okay, I do want to see how we're missing so much or something. Go down. Okay. That one hits, fine. The reload, sure. Yeah, so we're over aiming, right? And this is a big issue because I don't mind you trying to you're trying to clearly bend it and hit the Orisa, right? That's fine to do if you're trying to bend it around corners. If a target's right in front of you, don't make the shot harder for yourself to hit, right? Just do it roughly on a center of mass, and then you can control it in accordance to her movement, right? Don't try and bend it purposefully. Only do it if you can't see a target and you're trying to do it around the corner, right? That's when bending becomes useful. So we're clearly over aiming. So yeah, that shot's more reasonable, right? Like that shot, a bit unlucky that it misses, right? But that shot's way more reasonable because we're trying to aim it for a center of mass. Okay, that one's fine too. Of course, she just eats that one, so that's fine. Okay. And that shot there, like, whoa. That's like a drastic over aim. Like we're trying to like do some like crazy like look why is our crosser here, you know? Like why is it at a garbage can? Just do it at center of mass on Orisa. Trying to flick around and do some crazy aim mechanic. There we go, we actually hit center of mass. And that's just a stationary Orisa. Fine. Cool. Reasonable, fine. Ooh. Yeah, so this is the cover, Micah, right? Like, if we could just duck back into the taxi, and we would have been fine. It's a similar thing to over here. In the last fight, 2 fights to go, we kind of get caught here by spear out in open space. It's a similar thing. But yeah. It's a similar thing I tell Alari players too, because if you look at most hit scan players, they've got really good cover usage, or really good cover discipline. As in they won't stand out in open space all the time. Alari players and Wuyang players will often do this, and Zen players too. But yeah, a little bit harder on the cover though. Okay. Oh, that might use fight here. Yeah, I mean, I'm saying, of course, you've got a long ass defense, so you lose first point. Okay. Oh, your Wuyang. This is good awareness. This is good, right? We're flicking in between our Junkrat and our Wuyang. Oh, sorry, our Junkrat and our Weaver, which is good. That's good awareness. nice. Sure. That looks good. Okay. Sure. My only issue with this angle, chat, you tell me, what is problematic about taking this angle here?
Okay, so you
Especially-
said there's just one thing. I thought of, well, the Junkets is basically in my face, so
Kind
it's
of, yeah.
already a lot of spam, and
Right.
like I don't know. I
So
don't know.
there's an idea that I have with Orisa, or tanks in general, which I call stuffing, which is sort of denying out, preventing or denying out an angle entirely. You'll see, again, it's not just Orisa that can do this, so if they're playing Hazard, they can wall you off entirely. If they're playing Ryan, they can shield you off entirely. If they're playing Ram, they can stuff this area by vortexing you entirely. But tanks are really good at doing, ground tanks are really good at doing this. But they can control like a certain area and zone off an entire area, especially if it's enclosed. Again, Ram, Hog, Orisa, they're really good at doing this. And the reason why this angle was fine earlier is because the Orisa was down main. She couldn't stuff or prevent this area at all because she was just too far away. Was the main thing. So, of course, when you can, widen up an angle and have distance away from the Orisa. So it's really hard for the Orisa to come and reach you. Of course, your Junkrat wants to play in close sightlines, so that's fair on him, right? He's kind of good at that short sightline stuff, which makes sense. But for you, you don't want distance against Orisa. You want to keep it as far as possible. She can't really reach you. Which is my main issue with this angle. Is that it's too favorable. It's too easy for Orisa to deny this angle. The main issue, to put it short. And again, the reason why this angle was fine earlier was because Orisa was back over here.
Yeah.
But yeah. And again, it's not just Orisa, it's Ram, it's all types of heroes, ground tanks. But yeah. A very key question as well is, applies, again, this isn't just the Wuyang, it applies to hit scans too. And last thing you can ask yourself is, do I want Orisa to push me? And if the answer is no, you probably aren't in a good position. If you kind of want Orisa to come and push you, right? If you go over here, over here, Orisa's too far. You kind of want Orisa to come and push you because she can't actually. It's too far. You can dash away. It costs Orisa a lot of resources. It makes it hard for Orisa because of how far you are away for her to come and stuff you and prevent this angle. And it's fairly open too. Whereas this is really easy. If she's really close to the angle, can deny you very easily, spare you, of course, all that kind of stuff. Again, most ground tanks can do that. So it's a nice easy question to ask yourself. Do I want to be pushed here by Orisa or insert ground tank? If the answer's no, probably don't want to be playing that angle. Okay. You can see like how hard it is, how hard this is, right? Like help your Junkrat here and then go with, look at this, right? Look at how much easier it is for Sojourn to actually shoot stuff because of the much greater angle or the wider angle, the greater distance that she has over on this left side compared to the angle that you have here. Okay. Funny enough, had you been left side with your Sojourn, would help Sojourn. Okay. Sure, I mean it's hard to do so I'm not gonna complain too much about the wave. Okay. Okay. Sure. There is one thing I do want to briefly mention with the angle you could be taking, which is fine. Maybe using the ending part of your Wuyang dash to try and get to here, maybe. But yeah, it's a micro thing. The only reason I bring it up is because you're down one, so you kind of need to make a more aggressive play here. But it's nothing crazy. It wouldn't have changed the outcome of the fight, really. And the main thing is that you kind of don't move. You stay static on this angle. Right, a nice little thing I like doing sometimes is drawing a box and seeing how long you stay in the box for. So, when do you get to this right side angle? 449, so draw boxes. And the reason why I like drawing this is that it shows how long you stay in one position. 449.
Adaptive circuits engaged.
10 seconds. How long you stay for? Now we get moved. So about 10, 11, maybe 12 seconds we stay in this angle for. And we definitely had time. You know, at least we could have stayed for like 3-4 seconds instead of 10 to 12. And that would have actually helped us to help our Sojourn. So that's what I like drawing out, to show static positioning. And tons of coaches will talk about dynamic positioning or moving fluidly as the fight develops. We kind of saw it a bit earlier where you dynamically move from here to here. Of course that was because of the Orisa, right? But you did way more because of that. So yeah. Okay, let's see. Second point. Alright. Okay, back up a little bit. Alright. Okay. Door. Fine. We're doing. You be careful of the cover here. So I'd be playing a little bit further back, like around here, and using the higher ground here as cover. I only mention it because, again, you did die earlier by playing out open spaces. Okay. Door.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, so like I mentioned here, I'll mention be prepared to wave your Doomfist here, because it's really important that, again, you pay attention to the aggro that he's taking. So of course, you might slam out of your wave, which is really annoying, right? But when he's this close, to more Uncle's been out, he's punching in, and right now he's power blocking. So he's probably going to take a ton of aggro. By the time you wave him, he's probably going to be around half HP. He's going to be taking, again, a ton of aggro such that the heal buff from the wave would make sense to give him HP back. So right now I'd be waving him. Or at least in half a second from now, I'd be waving him. Again, the aggro, that's excessive aggro, you know, he could have, I don't know why the Arista didn't spear him. But if he got speared, he would have died there. And wave would have been used. So yeah. Oh, and we just died to Cocoon. That's sad. That's very sad. Again, this is probably down to tunnel vision, right? Again, awareness and the fact that we ignore the fact that Cocoon exists. And again, that's weird, considering it's a form of aggression, right? And again, we can compartmentalize that. Like, oh yeah, Cocoon is like behind us, for example. And then again, help our Doom as a result, and wave him as a result. I think we've got way too much mental capacity on tunneling. Where are you even tunneling on? I think it is just shooting the Orisa, predominantly. Yeah, not even like beaming your Doom in time. It just seems like you're mainly shooting the Orisa. But yeah, then unfortunate. 3 people die there to the worst ult in the game. Okay. We'll see. Sure. Yeah, so like I'm not gonna expect you to hit like flying echoes or Junos all the time, but I will say I think you make your shots harder to hit than you need them to. So sure, fine. So yeah, okay, you can't be drunk there, fine. Where could you rotate to?
To the right? Like
yeah?
now and to the room?
Right, so like I mentioned like you're making your shots harder to hit, right? And that's mainly because with this big ass barricade not doing you any favors in terms of what you're allowed to see here, basically, right? But of course, if you're kind of about over here, or hell, maybe a little bit more aggressive here, but over here too, you can see a lot more, and the shots become a lot easier to hit. You haven't even got to bend them in the first place, and also you've got enough distance. Again, mentioning the idea beforehand, away from the Orisa, such that if you're here, right, if she walks onto you, you dash away and you're fine. Right, like again, it's too much distance for her to cover. And if she walks over here, you'll be taking damage all the time down the sort of first straight here at least. Right, it's a bit risky for us to make that move. And also, she needs to decide: do I want to go into Wuyang, or do I want to punch the Doom here instead? So you make that choice harder for her too. But again, asking yourself that question: do I want her to push me? Yeah, honestly, I think I would. Because she's gonna waste her time, and we can dash back here and we'll be. So yeah, we'll see. And if you're not scared about spear by getting speared back in this little room here, you can play a little bit more safe here by playing this cover here instead of playing up here. Maybe again you can play here initially, wait for your Doom to make a play, or wait for your Doom to punch in. Then we can move here initially after our Doom goes a little bit deeper, and then we should be extra safe if we want to go that extra. But yeah, obviously here we just can't see anything. Which is the main issue. Our LOS is really limited. Okay. Right. Okay. And especially again, after that top shot, I would undoubtedly, your brain should instantly go back here, get the mini, pick a different angle here. You're safer and you do more stuff, right? I've always got a saying, whenever you stack main, you will take more damage and do less of it yourself. It's a double whammy. But yeah. Okay, obviously, we can't wave our Doomfist. I wonder why. Okay, we do wave him eventually. Okay. Okay.
Weaver isn't under a lot of aggression.
Yeah, so like I don't mind. Again, this is fine. I don't mind waving him and looking around. All right, that's a CD form of regaining awareness, right? So we can wave him, quickly glance to our Weaver or quickly glance to our soldier, and help them if they need help. Sure, that's reasonable. I don't mind that, right? But this looks really clunky to me because this doesn't look like what we're intending to do. In fact, our mouse is kind of stuck down the main screen here, and actually, we don't even look at what our Doom does, or even know what our Doom does, right? How much aggression is our Doom probably taking right now, or about to take?
Yeah, quite a lot.
What tells us that?
That we should focus on them.
Sure, right? I mean, I was also asking, what tells us that Doom's gonna take a lot of aggression?
That he jumped in.
He jumped in, right? He always slammed in, and tons of people are gonna look at him, right? So, what does that tell us about what we can do?
We can take the space he created.
Right, so we can go maybe here. It's not an amazing angle, right? But the idea being is that we should be able to push up more aggressively and look for a different angle. Now, of course, we're playing really close to Orisa here, and do I want to be here? Do I want Orisa to push me here? No, I do not. Right, so this is a bit of a dominoes effect by not playing this wider angle here. But this, again, shows me, or this is the point I'm trying to make here, is that you should be aware of what your Doom does. Because it tells you something about how you should be playing the game. If your Doom goes in, you should probably be more aggressive. If your Doom goes in, the teammates are probably going to be more aggressive. So you should help your teammates, right? That's what game sense is. It's noting these visual cues in the game, and that should inform you about how you should play the game here. That's not what's happening. We're not looking at what happens to our Doomfist. We're not really looking at our teammates. We're not looking to get more aggressive angles ourselves. We're kind of wandering or meandering. And we kind of forget about our Doomfist. He just dies in open space. How did I not notice him? Okay, there we go. Yeah, I think you get grabbed that, right? You're gonna lose that anyways. Don't use that. Okay, nice. I thought we didn't use that in time, right? Again, not to mention previous fights, but also like dominoes effect. Had you hit more shots or taken better angles, or got ults faster, you probably would have got your Wuyang ult in time, so you could have maybe Wuyang ulted your Doomfist, and maybe you could have held those seconds. Who knows? Or even your Drunkrat, who died first, kind of suicide bombed in, right? But again, that ripple effect makes a difference. But I think the main thing that fight was forgetting that we can take a wide angle here that has distance against Orisa, that gives us really good LOS, that makes us able to walk forward here when our Doom goes in, and also gives us good awareness, like in between shots or in between waves on our teammates. That angle here, missing that was really pivotal that fight. Okay, see here, we can get out in time. Hopefully, we should. Without Monkey there. Door. Okay. Door. Okay.
Should I even push up like to the right high ground?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, right? Where could you move to? So right high grounds. Yeah, I think this is okay. Right, we've got at least if you got decent cover here, I think it's fine. Mainly because Orisa can't walk onto you, thanks to this little lip thing. So praise be to that. But yeah, I think right side is fine. As long as you play cover well, I'm okay with it. Where else can you maybe go to? Maybe not now.
My gut tells me not to go into the left room. I could even move to the high ground.
Right. When you say high ground, do you mean like over
Oh,
there?
no. I actually don't know how to get to the left high ground except for like, on the attacker side.
Over here.
Yeah, it's only the attacker side, is it?
Yeah, it's only the little.
Yeah.
Here.
Okay, sure.
Well,
Then I don't know another position I could play.
Yeah. So like I would consider the left side here. Who threatens you the most if you go left side? What are you most scared of?
In this comp, like I'd say Orisa.
Like what stops you from going left side? What gives you the scares, basically?
Genuinely Orisa, like
Orisa, right? So you would need to know where Orisa's playing first before you go left side. So maybe again, Orisa is really heavily backing up with our team, or maybe she is like she is right now, playing really wide, and she can't actually walk into this one and punish you, right? So therefore, that might give you a prompt to go left side. Because again, if Orisa's playing really wide, she can't punish me here for now. So again, having that awareness on the Orisa, that visual cue on Orisa tells us that hey, maybe we can go left side because she can't spin onto us and javelin us into a wall. Yeah, right side would be good. I think that's fine. Wave is good. Reasonable. The Junkrat is dead, so you might want to be a little bit careful. But again, I don't mind going right side here. Right? Again, no one can touch you. They're running a slow comp, you know? Juno's not a threat to you. Torba's not a threat to you. Orisa's not a threat to you. Only threat is maybe Echo, right? But Echo, I think, is always somewhere up here a second ago. As long as you're aware on where she's playing, you should be fine. Yeah, playing up Pygon, right? Yeah. Sure. I can get awareness. Fine. We reload. Look around. Fine. Yeah, I just think we're kneecapping ourselves because again, that can't punish us if you go right side. Again, if you're really that scared, play distance. You can play. Don't play next to the corner here, or play next to the wall here. Play off the corner a little bit. But you can still play the wall here. You've got a little extra distance to play, so you can kite out if you really need to. But yeah. Okay. Sure. Okay, so you hear Molten Core. Where or what should you do? How should you position as a result? What positions are you thinking of moving to as a result of the Molten Core?
My gut again tells me to just press S and go towards my spawn.
Right. The Molten Core signals the enemy team are going to be playing aggressively. So as a result, we would probably back up because we don't want to die to their push, right? And notice how close we are to the Orisa right now. The second you heard of it, I would have been like, again, can I ult my Sigma because he's probably going to take the brunt of it? And can I back up immediately, right? And also, what might you get ready for? Or ready to do, rather?
Waving?
Waving, yeah? What else? Waving your Sig is one thing. What else can you do to your Sig?
I can ult them.
Ult them as well, right? So,
Yeah.
I would get ready to start doing this stuff now. This would be in the back of your mind, getting ready to do this stuff. And again, what tells you to do this is the Molten Core, right? Because they're pushing in. That tells you to reposition. That tells you to wave. That tells you to maybe ult someone if they're really pushing in hard, right? Here, you should be dead. I'm not gonna lie. Like this is like crazy. Again, I say this to players all the time that you will do things that on paper will not work or should not work, but because you're playing in a low elo relatively to higher ranks, you'll get away with it. And this is one of those cases because this person is like infected. They're gonna turn you and javelin you, and you're gonna die immediately. You know? You should already be here. Is the point? You should already dashed over here during the Molten Core, so that you can't get speared by the Orisa. But it's been unfortunate. Wave is okay. I don't mind it. Yeah, it's mainly the positioning that I've got a slight issue with. I mean, the good news is that you've got a decent angle here, right? They're just not safe. Okay, sure. Put an orb on your Sig in the meantime. There we go. But yeah. Again, if that shows you that you can play really aggressive in this elo, and you can almost limit test in a way, then I don't know what does, because, again, that comp cannot force you out. Okay. Or force you out easy, I should say. Okay. We'll see here. Sure. I don't mind not playing. I was gonna say play high ground here, but your team's dead, so I don't think you can't really play there. Okay. Sure. I'm curious as to why we play so far back again. I don't think we need to be playing this far back. Sure, we clear Echo, right? Fine. I don't know why you hop back over, right? I think we can at least like play here or jump on the ledge a little bit and stay on this angle. Because again, there's not a real threat from the enemy team yet, right? Like they're not pushing up fully yet. So we can spam here, wait for them to push up and clear this angle, then we can walk back a little bit and play a little bit more distance. Okay. Shots. Shot there. Shot two. Nice. But of course, if you're playing here, you can push up with our Sig and look to get a deeper angle and actually shoot the Kiri, who we just got to 1 HP. So again, a little bit of a dominance effect there. Okay. Okay. Sure. I back up. How are you alive right now? What's going on?
Bled is like...
Yeah.
crazy.
This is okay. Like, this is okay so far. We're trying to find a different angle around the shield. This to me is reasonable, right? What's not reasonable is this. So I think we should have orbed our Junkrat mainly because our Sig has got 3 HP. Our Junkrat's taking the aggression here, so we would have liked to orb on our Junkrat. And B, immediately we need to dash back against the Orisa. Immediately, second that we see her this close to us, right? Ideally back to here is probably the best place to play. Here is okay temporarily, maybe if you can get to the train in time. Yes, here would be okay, here would be okay, right? Any sort of place there. We can even bait the Orisa into us and then we ain't got ourselves. But yeah, the distance is by far the main issue. And now the Orisa just ignores us. Okay, it's not amazing. Mainly because it's not for our teammates, for the Orisa. Draw. Fine. Okay. Go left, go left. Oh, his fine as well. Fine, stuff was okay. Hey, the high noon! Whoa, we're getting high noon. The Echo's pushing us, I think.
Yes, they
Yes. Yes.
are. I remember.
You are lucky. You are one lucky individual. This is fine. Like, we're looking in between. So we're trying to carry our Sigma, while also carrying the high noons. Right? But I guess the key thing is that A, we're a little too tunnel on our Sig, and B, we know for sure the Echo's gonna push us. Like, we 100% know that. So again, we can sort of do a ring around the rosy kind of thing. So like we're coming here, and they're coming like this. And I don't really care about damage you're taking down main, because high noon is very scary. So again, we can do a little bit of ring around the rosy. We can even flip between our crosshairs, between the two. We're very lucky there. Okay. Sure. Fine. He'll jump. Whoa. Unfortunately there that you end up killing the Echo there. Lucky that without the perk we probably didn't get that kill. Okay. It's a very messy fight. I don't really know there's many other positions you can really play in this fight because of how open the map is. Like, there's no high ground to use. Again, ideally, I would have liked to see you start here, and then again, you can play these sort of back bits here, down here, later into the fight. And in fact, if I go third person, and I go back a little bit to where Echo flanks around, yeah, like what happens to Cassidy? Ooh. Yeah, right, like if you're here, or you're roughly in this sort of vicinity with your Cass, you're able to help your Cass and you can 2v1 the Echo here, so you haven't got to worry about hiding to begin with. Again, that's map control stuff. And that's because we gave up the map control way too easily by playing down main here, on top of our 6. Then what's the main issue about playing sort of area here, do you think?
There's not a lot of cover.
Yes, well, that's the first thing. What's the second thing too? Can you easily escape?
Okay, the rotations are very
Yeah,
long.
they're not great, right? Like, even here against the Orisa, I was kind of mentioning how, again, when the Orisa was really up into your face, like, it's still not great having to move all in this open space, all the way back over here. It's still not great. Or even way over here. And obviously here, it's fine temporarily, but there's no retreat path. A big-ass wall. So, again, rotation-wise, I think it's probably better to play this sort of vicinity here, or this sort of vicinity here, and then this is your main flank in the mid-fight. Like, looking for flanks here, as you can go in the mid-fight, and looking as if they go deeper here, you can look for angles here, even here too. That's probably your main place on this map specifically. But yeah, there's no retreat paths. It's the main issue. But yeah. Okay. Because that's probably why, or what made this fight so funky. Echo getting control of the right side. Okay, we'll see you next fight. Oh, that's a bit
Yeah,
episode,
there's
yeah.
no next fight.
Okay, we'll see attack then. Alright. Okay. So, there's a ball ping on your screen. And I don't expect you. Okay, I think your cat's dying here. Sure, it's fine. Like, again, I'm not going to be hindsight and say, oh, you should have known ball there. It's balls there. There's no way you're going to know balls that are going to beat that, right? And there's no way you could help Cass here. So I think this is okay. Like, I don't mind your Cass dying. There's no way you could have known. No way you could have known. But, why aren't we looking at the ball? We're looking what's behind us. At least.
So in this moment, I knew that the ball would be there, but I just thought I'm safe enough at my
Right.
position.
Yeah, so maybe again you don't have to look at it to know that he's there, right? Obviously, but it would be nice to know where he's there so you can actually out-rotate him and avoid the power driver. Um, it's really important micro with power driver. We'll see if it makes an impact. But basically into ball, so we'll use this to sort of explain it. This is like this is like a bird's eye view. And the way you should play ball is by using pillars, or pillars would be great, cover's fine as well, but I'll use an example of a pillar. This is a pillar here. You're playing here by the pillar, and you see a ball player coming over the top, looking for a slam. Right? By using a pillar, you can very easily avoid the slam, because if he slams you like over here, coming over, he slams you here, you can very easily out-rotate it and use the pillar and playing ring around the rosy against the ball. And this is really good to do when he's got minefield as well, because obviously if you get pole drove and then he minefields you, you're probably gonna die because of the pole driver stun. So using pillars are really important in the ball, and also cover in general too. Right, so in this map specifically, if you're over here, he can't pole drive you. You just can't, because of the big ass roof, of course. So that's why it's important to look at where ball's playing, so you can out-rotate him accordingly. You'll see if you look at POVs from high-level Wuyang players and Kyrie players, and Lucio players as well, they'll always try and use pillars or again corners like this to try and dodge or LOS out the ball slam. Corners aren't as good, of course, because if you're playing here and ball comes over to the top here, especially when he's got that major perk that can change the direction of the slam, he can still slam you any side here. He's still got a good LOS in the slam. So the cover only allows you to duck in the sort of angle here. So it's not fully amazing because again it covers like more degrees. But yeah, pillars would be great to use, or covers in close spaces like this, so he can't slam you in. But yeah. Okay. We'll see here. Okay. I was gonna say, I don't even mind using your dash here, right? Because ball's dead, so you can play a lot more aggressively. Like around here. Like, I would honestly dash straight in the room, play this angle here, or get the side grounds, and who's gonna come for you? You know? Like, I don't know who. Like, you can see Torbs here, right? You can see Torbs to the left side. You can see Echo shooting to the right side. No one's gonna come for you, realistically. So yeah, I really think you could dash to the left side and no one's gonna punish you. I think Yu does that, and eventually go left side eventually, right? Yeah. But this is too close, right? This is just too close, right? This is what I mentioned to go up the stairs here, right? Because it gives you distance, right? It makes it hard for the sub to reach you, right? Here, like, you've got tons of distance against Echo, so if Echo comes and flies into you, having to fly into open space, and you can easily wave her. And here, well, Torb can't reach you. You just can't. So, if you're gonna do this kind of thing, it needs to be, again, aggressive but safe, right? Again, this is aggressive by dashing into the room here and playing the high grounds, but it's safe for the reasons I've just stated. Whereas this is aggressive but dangerous. What you do here. And maybe this is why you play so passive on defense. Because I like the attitude is what I like. The attitude is good, but the actual play itself isn't. Actually, I've got a nice graph here. This graph might be useful. When you're in 5v4s or having advantages, players will either do one or two things. They'll either AFK or do nothing, or they'll int and feed. And what players will often do, they often won't do one of these things all the time. They'll often flip-flop between these two things all the time, right? And I think that's kind of true of what we've seen in your gameplay so far. I think on first point defense, again, you are very passive, especially when you're doing slamming in. You are scared to take different angles. And again, we kind of saw that you got away with a lot of things, even though you didn't mean to, because the comp was so unmobile. And now we're seeing the opposite end here, where you're playing, you're just into there, right? To put it flat out, you kind of entered into Torbjorn, right? And of course, there's happy medium right here, which I call pushing slowly, or pushing in a way that minimizes risk, low risk. For team play, I also say stabilize too. What stabilize means is you just duck back into cover, wait for your cooldowns, wait for HP, then you push back in. Is all that stabilize means. But of course, in this example, you don't need stabilize because the ball didn't force out any of your cooldowns here. But yeah. Alright, let's see here. Okay. It's all your Sig dies too. That's really not good. That's a bad dominoes. Because if you don't die there, your Sig doesn't die, and then you kill Torb, and then you cap first point. It sucks. Okay. Let's see here. Hey, why don't you... Whoa. Like, I get you're trying to look for, again, Orb on your cast, fine, he's peeking, right? He's not crit HP right now, this is okay. But like, why not immediately beam the cast the second you see him go to crit? Like, I would stop firing this and immediately beam the cast. Why not stop the water control of the balloon and then beam the cast?
Okay. In situations like this, I just think, well, he's very close to cover, and
Right.
I could have uptime with my shots, but it's not like the risk. I think is too
Yeah,
high
yeah.
for the reward.
I was just gonna say, right, like it's not worth the reward for it. It's like Vianots who I mentioned this one because Vianots always make the mistake. They'll fire strike on like 200 HP, and then because they're stuck in an animation, they'll die. And it's like the 7% ult charge is not worth the risk of you potentially dying on Reinhardt. It's just not worth it. And here's a similar thing where it's like the damage on the shot, the 3% ult charge isn't worth the risk of a cast potentially dying. So yeah. Okay. We'll see. Yeah. Sure. It's got the ball. Fine. Fine. Yeah. So I'm fine with you. This is baiting. You're not. I don't think you're intentionally doing this, but again, you're not. You're not gonna die here. You're gonna wave him. You'll be fine. You shouldn't die here. There we go. Right. If you're a little bit isolated from your other sport, what's your honor actually? Is he in the room, right? There's two things you can do against ball, right? You can either make it really, really hard for him to come and reach you, which is kind of what you do here, or you can out-rotate him and move away from him, right? This is what I mentioned earlier about moving into the room, where he just can't slam you to begin with, because you're, again, you can't just go in the air and slam you if you're in the room. This is micro, right? Just dash into the room and you'll be okay. Or not even dash, you can just move into the room and you'll be okay. But yeah. Okay. Right, we'll see. Yeah. Walk. I don't say walk here. What I mean is, it's like I've got this framework. We'll use this wall here, and I've done a lot of like concept coverage in the last like 10 minutes here. But like I've got this concept called SPAR, stands for scouts, prevents, absorb, rotates. If you can get scout for now, simplify things. Well, I use this framework when coaching ranged characters against dive comps. Dive characters. So an example is being ball here. Prevention. What that really means is how can we stop the dive before it even begins? And often your character is really good at this. It's just by again soft off angles and by poke. Right? If you force a Genji to deflect before he even dives, he's not gonna dive without deflect. It's not gonna happen. Same thing with Doom on low HP. If you get Doom to low HP before he even dives you, he's not gonna dive you. So it makes it a lot easier the next step, which is to absorb the dive. Right? Again, you can do this by, as I mentioned, playing in enclosed spaces against balls specifically, or bunkering. You can do it by playing distance, as I mentioned, into Orisa. You can do it by what else? Or high grounds as well. Like Somber Tracer, they've got no verticality. If you can jump to high grounds, that's a good way of absorbing. And it's by hitting your cooldowns, your micro. That's how you absorb stuff. That's mainly self-explanatory. The bit people forget to do is that after you absorb a dive, so right now we just absorbed the ball dive, right? Like we just waved him, he went away, you absorbed it. The step you do afterwards is to rotate. Which just means, in plain English, to push forward. And that's kind of what I'm saying here, is like, you go in this room here, and look to take a different angle here, or push forward here and look for a different angle. Of course, try not to do it out in open space. The reason why I mention this is because after ball slams, he's got no cooldowns, or his dive cycle's over. His peak of his power is over. So it should be time for you guys as a team to push forward. Obviously, you get a little bit antsy here, and you get thrown by Torb here. Yeah, that's the reason why I mentioned that idea, of course. Do it in a way that's a little bit more aggressive. We even saw it here in the first fight, right? After ball dies, push forward in a way that's safe, right? Of course, you did it in the top here, right? That's why I was saying to push it onto the top balcony bit. But yeah. And then you end up getting rolled over there, right? As it was. Of you getting domed. Okay. We'll look at next fight and then we'll do a quick summary. Okay. Sure. Only a ball slam there, you could even beam your honor there as well. So I don't mind you not waving that, was okay. Ball's dead. Sure. This is also, get them to mention, after ball dies, again, look around. Right, so not just at the enemy team, because it's nice to know who you will push on, obviously, right? But look at if anyone needs peeling on your team before you actually end up rotating like this, because again, you've got no awareness on anyone on your team that might be low. So Honor gets half HP. We're very, and also again, I think tunnel's the correct word to use it. Right, we're very tunnel and hitting our shots, which is fine, right? A nice glance on a team would have helped there. Okay, nice warp switch, good. Fine. I'm okay with this angle. My only thing is it could be a little bit more aggressive with it, a little touch more. So.
How would I be a touch more aggressive?
Yeah, so so like the main thing here is A, I wouldn't use dash, and B, go to this fire shot here, and then once your stick pushes on point, does it? Yeah, right. Now eventually, they go back here, then you can deepen your angle and go right. Obviously not now because they're still on point, right? But once they start backing up, then you can go deeper and go right side and catch them back. But yeah, the issue with what you're playing with right now is that you can't do that because you're a bit too far away to go here. That's generally how you could play this a little bit more. You might even do that essentially. Maybe. Like yeah, now like after the torp dies or like around when the torp was about to die, then that would have been nice to go and catch them back. And then obviously when ball comes in, you dash away, and you would have been fine. But yeah. Of course, the narrow angle there is pretty good to spam. Should be first. Nice dash. Draw. Take a wave that. Draw. A little bit slow there, but that's okay. Fine. Draw. Good jump, nice. I need to Wuyang all this. Fine. Oh, huge fan of where you dash to. Where can you dash to?
I dash into the house with the mega and left to the point.
Right. What's the issue by going here?
I'm sorry?
What's the issue by going here? Like, why is this not a great place to retreat to?
I neither have LOS nor cover.
Yeah, partially. What about your honor?
I don't even know where they are.
Yeah. Again, that's the awareness thing, right? Like, you have zero awareness on where your honors are. And it's not like, again, it's not like a, how do I say it? You have to put full focus on where your honor's playing. It's more so, oh, I just noticed that my honor's here. I'll keep that in mind for later. That's literally it. It's the acknowledgement is what it is. Not full focus. And again, your honor's actually here, right?
Yeah.
It's slammed. And how do you just dash back to here? You could actually pull for each other. Beam your honor. You could even wing out your honor if you want to as well. If you like she's taking too much aggression. Which is fair. I think if she got hit by a ton of stickies, give the ult to your honor, you can flip the pressure off of that, and then maybe win this first point. So the honor's gonna die the most likely. Right. And that's like really unfortunate. Because we could have re-ulted our honor. We could have kept our honor alive. We could have even flipped the kill and got the kill into the echo too. And then that could have been the opening for first point. But yeah. We missed the opportunity sadly because we just don't know where honor's playing. Okay, I don't mind pushing forward to get trade, that's okay. But yeah. Would you ult your...
Yeah, no, I'll try to ult myself. Yeah.
I just realized that you ult went to 0, or did you ult your Sigma or something and then I missed that? You're just being ult jacked yourself. Okay. Okay. We'll do a summary here. Because we went through a lot of AD. Okay, I think first thing, I mean, awareness is going to be part of it. I just don't know what point I'm going to put awareness on. Let's Let me think about this. Honestly, yes. I think the first point on awareness is really important. Not just for your, like in the honor case there, but awareness in terms of the cues that or the cues on how do I say it? Cues of aggression, I'll say. Aggression. So what I mean by that is e.g. first point defense, Doom, inting, or just engaging, normally going for a soft engage and then being off sync with him. Also, I mean Marissa. Actually got spin. Has she close to you? And flankers in general. If ball is out, you can go in. Out. And there was also a fight on second point defense as well. We got domed by Torbjorn, and our Doom was going in, and we just never went to the right side. I'll probably put that as a positional. And obviously here, look around, especially after kills PD. I mean, honestly, the first point you should have capped it first fight. Like you died first because you entered into a torb instead of playing a position that is aggressive but safe. And actually, I'll mention that as the second point. Actually, aggressive but so again, some examples. That orb first attack. Second point defense to the right. Third point defense again to the right side. And some nice rules of positioning or guidelines you can have are, well, I have 4 guidelines basically. Cover, line of sight, basically meaning can I see my teammates? Can they see me? Can I also see the enemy team too? A distance. Mainly referring to the Arissa idea about do you want the Arissa to push you? What I mean by distance. So of course, if you're far away from Arissa, she can't push you, and you do actually want her to push you. You'll feed her brains out. And then rotation. Basically meaning, can I retreat? Or can I push up? So retreat is a defensive rotation, of course, and then pushing up is an aggressive rotation. Of course, third point defense. When you play left side, you don't have a defensive rotation, haven't got a retreat path, which was the main issue with that angle. Those are the 4 rules you can keep in mind. I think for you mainly, of course, cover was the main thing. In fact, we saw a little bit of everything, to be honest. We saw some angles where you're playing so far back that you just couldn't see the enemy team, which was LOS. We saw some fights where you just forgot to use cover. We saw some fights where you're too close to Arissa. And then we saw some fights where you haven't got a retreat path. So a little bit of everything, that third point, on that second point here, on positioning. And third thing, I guess we can mention like a micro with Wuyang. So again, when bend, shot, or just aim center of mass. Waves were okay. I think with waves, again, look at aggro, a target staking. You did do this sometimes. Like I think this fight, you didn't wave an Ana when they got slammed by the ball, which is more than reasonable because it's only a ball slam. But then some fights you just forgot to wave your Doom for. At the start of second point defense, we just didn't wave our Doom. But look at the aggro target staking. And then, honestly, these are the 2 main things. I don't want to overload with information. I know I've already mentioned dive stuff as well. But that stuff will become more relevant in other games where, or even higher elo as well. Again, you play into ball players or you play into more divier comps. I think for the main part, it's more so just being aware of your teammates, not making the dumb mistakes, catching the big fish, and playing better positions as a whole, as we again saw with cover, LOS, distance, and rotation. Um, but yeah, those are the big fish, I'd say. Any questions or queries? Because I know I've done a lot of talking, done a lot of yapping. But any queries, questions, clarifications, things like that.
I don't think so. One thing I really want to ask. One time I always take the triple AWP perk just because of ultraviolet.
Yeah.
Should I continue doing that?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I know like it's been like a flip flop between the perks because everyone's on Wuyang's release, everyone took the wave, and then UV started taking the triple orb, then people started taking triple orb, and then some Koreans started picking the wave again. So I think on the whole, I think wave got nerfed recently too. Like I think I'm more than fine picking triple orb. I think that's more than reasonable, and you're playing Wuyang for damage anyways. I will say it's a little bit comp specific. So of course, if you're playing Lucio Wuyang with a heal heavy tank like Lucio Wuyang plus Ryan or Ram, then yeah, I'd probably take the wave perk, probably. But if you're playing like a comp you're playing right now, for example, yeah, take triple orb, right? Or you're playing a ball comp like Ball, Wuyang, Brig, for example, then yeah, take triple orb, right? If you're playing a comp where A, your other support does a decent amount of healing, and B, your tank player, your tank doesn't need much healing, so Sigma doesn't need much healing. Uh, Zarya doesn't need that much healing. Queen doesn't need that much healing. A ball doesn't need that much healing, right? Then yeah, I think you're fine. I think taking triple orb. But yeah, there'll be some cases where I want to take the wave. Yeah, anything else?
Okay.
Was that all fine?
I think it's all fine. I think somewhere in your Discord it mentioned that you record this and upload this on YouTube.
Yeah, so like the way that works, like 80% of VODs are go uploaded publicly, but some people want them private or unlisted, which is all fine. So if you don't
No,
mind.
I don't care. I just
Cool.
just would want to have the link so I could rewatch
Yeah,
this.
yeah, that'll be all because I did cover a lot here, and there'll be some ideas like I sometimes mention it as like a toolbox or toolkit,